bill of regret is generational. I personally have this fear as well that one day I'm just sitting old in my mid 30s or mid 40s saying like, damn, I could have been great.
And I'll also say, like, a lot of people don't understand this, that our primer selves were most efficient, were most creative, were most ferocious in pursuit. But the problem is, like, we've been taught and brainwashed to pursue smaller things. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiser Together. This is your host, Parmeet Kumar, with your co host, Anas Pasha. How you doing, brother?
I am great. How about you? How's the weather?
I'm doing amazing. It's a bit rainy and cloudy, which I don't like, but it's important because it reminds you of the good days.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. It's raining over here as well, so we're in the same
yeah,
situation. But
yeah,
no, it's nice. I mean, like in Dubai, at least to rain, and we're approaching that weather. So actually, we're in that weather now. Like every morning is just fantastic. So really looking forward to this. But anyways, speaking about good times and this and that, I really want to share a story with you today.
please.
And this story is about Gaius Julius Caesar, who, as you know, as everyone might know, is famous not for the Caesar salad, but as a as a Roman military general, right? Who conquered Spain, France. That time it was known as Gaul. Anyway, so the story goes like this: that he was sitting with his friends or comrades, or like with his legion men, and he was going through the exploits of Alexander the Great. And at this time, Caesar is 33 years old, and the story goes like, so Caesar wept. So that basically means that Caesar started crying. And that was because while he was reading Alexander's exploit, basically Alexander preceded him, right? Came before him, and he was not
Right.
uh, a part of the Roman Empire, but the Macedonian Empire, the Greek. So actually, not even the Greek. Macedonia is a different empire overall. Anyway, so the point is that so Caesar wept, and why he wept, because at the same age of 33, Alexander had conquered the world, and
Right.
he was crying because he was talking to his comrades like, what will people remember me as? Just like as an ordinary general of the Roman Empire for Spain. What is my legacy? He just started talking about these things like in fear of his death, like insecure of the time that he has spent doing. And mind you, this is not no ordinary man. Like Julius Caesar himself has done tremendous things. I'll go on about it, but yeah, I mean, look at a man
So, was
who
this coming from he not being as great as Alexander the
definitely,
Great? Okay.
definitely, he was just like, simply he was saying that at the age of 33, Alexander had conquered the world, and he was just pointing towards himself like, what have I done, simply put.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that story really hits home with me because, again, at that time, there was no such thing as this thing that I have come to realize as this invisible standard, or quite simply that I call it as an age gap. Like in this day and age, in this society, like on average, we see people that everyone has set like an age cap. There's an age for marriage, there's an age for graduation, there's an age for
Hmm.
doing this, doing that, becoming a millionaire, becoming a billionaire, having this, having that. And I really like, I went through history. I like, as you know, like I'm a huge history nerd, right? And I've been reading about all of these people, and there's in no shape or form there is this certain standard that says that, like at this age you should be doing that this, or at this age you should be doing that.
Sure.
Like at age of 10 you could be a millionaire, that's not a problem. I mean, there's no such thing as that, like you don't have the physical capability or the cognitive ability.
Yeah.
So I really want to ask you, like, how did we end up with this eight, like, invisible standard?
I guess there's a lot of probably inputs that go into this, but uh, it's a social narrative which is constructed by how society is, but also like the world leaders, how they want the world to be. I do believe that capitalism plays a big part in how we are sort of designed to be kept in an environment where we're only utilized to a very limited level, right? And the environment is designed in a way that suppresses that creativity and stuff, because I believe in all these controversial controversies, right? So
Yeah,
if people at the top 1%, the richest of the richest, they don't want people at the bottom to be at their level, right? They don't want
I agree.
the gap to close. So
Yeah,
capitalism is just another way of, I don't like, it is a way of, maybe it's this is one perspective, so don't hold me against it, but this perspective is, it is a form of slavery, right? You're basically 9 to 5, 8 hours, 9 hours, you're just working for someone else, but then at the end of the day, you don't have any time left for yourself or relationships or nothing, or think about or question what is going on, right? So in that regard, like, there is a standard set that by this age you should be doing this and this, and I feel like a lot of people, majority of the people, don't even envision what their higher self or what their superior version could be or could have achieved. They just, even they are brainwashed to envision a life of mediocrity, and that's as far as they go. 6 figures, who make 6 figures, I'm good. If I get a house, what is the American dream? Getting a house, but that's the most basic of your needs, you know so much like that, what we've taken from the social narrative, having these age standards is one of the things that I believe comes from
Do
it.
you think like with these things, I do understand that people do blossom at like a later age and they do realize, but do you think there's a sense of regret amongst the general population
For not being able to.
for not chasing their dream or realizing their dream, like not taking that step for whatever they wanted to do in life, for example, apart from because I do understand what you're saying, like capitalism is sort of like I mean, like I wouldn't call it capitalism per se, but I would call it like the ability to just like stay afloat financially, just to like feed yourself, people doing minimum hour work and this and that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like of course, like if they had, yeah.
No, okay, I get your question. So, like, I feel like if the regret was truly there, they would already work towards changing their situation, and they would. But if that regret is coming from just on the surface level, looking at your reality and looking at someone above yourself on social media or something, and just feeling, comparing yourself to the other person and feeling bad about yourself and feeling regret, or I could be doing this and this, but that pain isn't as big as the comfort you get from being in the position that you are, so you don't change it. When that pain within you, that regret within you, is more painful than the situation you are right now, you would work towards changing your situation, right? A lot of people might feel that sort of regret on a surface level, but on the core they don't really care. They wouldn't be willing to give up their life or
Hmm.
comfort that they have right now to achieve something bigger, or
I get what you're saying regarding the grass is greener on the other side, if I'm not wrong.
hmm,
However, like I mean, for example, like Tim Grover, right? Tim Grover puts it the best way. I think we've talked about him quite a lot. Is the fact that he says that the bill of regret is generational, right?
yeah,
I think I was speaking in that term that like you not taking you as anyone as a general person, right, not taking that first step towards what you want to do, like for example, let's say Grover's regard, right, like a basketball player not working as hard enough to be drafted into
yeah,
the NBA, right, or like an artist not working on their craft, or the instrument or the lyric, or their ability to sing,
yes,
like not as hard enough, and just like sticking to that 9 to 5 job, and doing that thing, because I feel like I mean, for me as well, I am also doing a 9 to 5, as you know, but however,
hmm,
that I have structured my life as such that even though I do that 9 to 5, but I eat well enough, I sleep well enough, I exercise
yeah,
well enough,
you hack the
I
system.
exactly. I utilize. I wouldn't say like hack, like we're on the process, but like just because, like you said, I'm gonna like actually take upon what you said, that when the pain is so much, like of regret, or the fear of not being like your potential, like Joe Rogan says it the best, like the fear of like just saying that, damn, I could have been great, I could have
Yeah.
been this, and not per se comparing it to anyone, like I feel like Caesar also wasn't comparing himself to Alexander, because if I were to speak very contextually, Alexander inherited his father's army, Philip the Macedonian. He was the one who constructed that army that Alexander took and then went on to conquer the world. So some people would argue that Alexander wasn't even that great. But the idea is that Alexander was also a man, right? 2 feet, two hands, one brain, two eyes. I mean, nothing extra, right? So I think he was also speaking in that regard. And it's the same thing with me, that me as a man who has the same organs, who has, at least that I know, who is as like as equal as can be to the next man, right? Might just, like I might have that fear that, like for example, I would say Virat Kohli, right? He started playing ODI for Team India at the age of 19. Babar Azam, the Pakistani cricket team captain, he's 2 years older than I am. Max Verstappen, the reigning Formula One driver, he's 26. All of these guys, all of these people, even Michael Jordan, who drafted in the NBA at the age of 21, right? I mean, what did these guys have that, for example, I do not have, if I were to put a question on myself, right? And that is the question, like I was referring back to Joe Rogan, that, like I personally have this fear as well, that, like one day I'm just sitting old in my mid 30s or mid 40s saying like, damn, I could have been great. So adding to what you said, that fear of not realizing your true potential, not being your best superior version, is, that pain or that fear exceeds whatever I am doing right now, and has given me that drive, that push, that okay, you do your 9 to 5 because that is important to feed yourself, to feed your family, to put food on the table, and to survive, right? Like 99% of the population does. However, in the extra time that I have, I make sure that I have enough energy, enough cognitive ability to, like schedule the episodes, to make these episodes with you. Even right now, it's like we woke up at 6:30 in the morning Dubai time just to make sure that we record this. So there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of, exactly on a Sunday. So, and we have been doing this for the past 8 months now. So you see, like that, I don't know what to call it, if it's drive or if it's passion or if it's the fear of being average or the fear of, but I would say it's like a mixed pot of a curry, mixed pot of these things that bring together, to create that passion, to chase your excellence, to chase the the version of yourself who is proud of you. So, like and coming back, like driving it whole to what Tim Grover said regarding bill of regret, I'm just thinking, like if I don't do this right now, what about my future generation? I mean, this is what he meant by, like the bill of regret is generational, like just imagine like any successful businessman's or any successful person's son or children or grandchildren, right? What, like, they, for example, then they would have to start their empire from scratch if their father or their grandfather hadn't done so, right? So it's the same thing that I think, that if I want my legacy, if I want my future, I don't know, man, I mean, like, let's say whoever they are, like in the future, if I adopt someone, if I even have my own children or anything at all, like I would want them to carry this legacy, to carry the community that we're building, to carry these teachings forward so that they can also help people. So coming back to again what Tim Grover said, that the bill of regret is generational, is that, I mean, for example, I'm trying to find like the politically right words to say, or the things, or like not to trying to offend someone, but for example, like someone who's working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and who's someone who's really struggling, they're actually, I mean, although there wasn't no signed contract or there wasn't no agreement or anything like that, but actually, they would have been better off if their, I don't know, man. I mean, like their parents or whoever provided for them like a basic sort of a structure, basic sort of a household, basic sort of an income, basic sort of a thing where they could have utilized that, like a relay race when one runner passes a baton to the other, and they could slowly build that up. But
Yeah.
since, like again, Tim Grover says that the bill of regret is generational, now then these people have to start from scratch. And even
For
if
sure.
they don't work towards, and again, I'm not saying conquering the world or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that just build a basic foundation of education, financial independence, cognitive ability, just like a basic level of education, so that they can carry that forward. Sorry, I ramble on enough. I'm just trying to bring this all together, but it's just such an interesting topic to me. It really fascinates me, especially what Tim Grover said.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let me just go back to people
Yeah,
working 9 to 5 quickly, not to shit on them or anything, but it's what we are trying to say is that just talking about how there is a social narrative and expectation of how you should do certain things. You should work 9 to 5, chill on the weekends, take one trip a year, just work towards the dream house. It's okay to eat junk food. It's okay to stay home. It just depends on the condition. But just the thing is, it's fine for you to do those things. Just realize what it
correct.
means for you and what it leads to, the consequences it has. And coming back to what you said, that the billing of regret is generational, and you asked me if I think people realize that. If people had realized that, they would already change it, because it's quite transfer like them realizing it would put them in a position where they would realize that they're in a crisis and they need to transform this and channel some sort of energy through it to change their life. But most people do not realize this. And you know how they say ignorance is bliss? They just don't know, or don't have the awareness or the understanding
I
or
agree.
the kind of opinions around them to make them realize that what is going on and what the bill of this will be eventually. And a lot of people, most often than not, like when they're older, they have regrets. So why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do this? I could have pushed a little harder. I could have been a little more uncomfortable. I could have gone for that creative thing I want to do. I could have taken on that risk. I could have been vulnerable financially, emotionally for some time, just to test out what could have been possible or would have been possible. But we've unfortunately been brainwashed by society and by capitalism
Yes,
and
sir.
by a lot of other things,
Yes, sir.
uh,
By
to be
comfort.
mediocre.
By comfort.
Yes,
Yeah.
comfortable,
Yeah.
mediocre, be comfortable,
Yeah.
be mediocre. But what people don't understand is that that comfort comes at a cost, uh, and a cost of a lifetime. I always say that uh, pleasure in the moment will lead to a lot of regret and
Exactly. You
dissatisfaction.
have to pay that bill tomorrow.
Yes,
A, a,
but
a
if
a
you
drunk
pay the
a
bill,
drunk night out or junk eating food, you pay the bill tomorrow.
yeah, like comfort today is pain tomorrow, pain today is comfort tomorrow, or joy tomorrow, or however you want to put it. Like it's so paradoxical that doing the harder thing, you feel easier at life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But if you're doing the easy things, or just then the life becomes harder. So uh, it's paradoxical in nature.
I feel like I am such a good example for this. Look, like I mean, I have, again, like I have so much regret, but that regret, I don't use it as a dark place to be. For me, regret is something that I learn on. It's more or less like history or reading a book. I love reading about people's screw ups, because that gives you the ability to not do that again, because you have that knowledge. And it's the same thing with me. Now I use my regret, I use my screw ups to understand that what could I do better. I mean, I I was obese, did nothing, and I believe I want to touch upon Pakistani culture just a little bit over here, because to be very honest, I was 24 years old, living in my parents' house, not earning any money. My mother used to cook food for me. I was hanging out, going to parties, enjoying. I mean, you know better than most, like what sort of life that we used to have back in Karachi, which is our home city back in Pakistan. And there is no sense of urgency. There is no sense of like, okay, even if you're not making, and it's again like I'm going to touch upon money and worldly thing because this usually pops up, but the idea is that you are 24 years old, you are 23 years old, and if you're listening to this, I don't want you to get scared or anything. If there's anything after this podcast, we just want to light up a fire inside you and light up a bulb inside your head to actually make you realize that you're way more than this. And trust me, when you start working towards something like we are towards Wiser Together and building towards a community, the pleasure that you get is 1,000 times more than having ice cream or like anything exogenous external that you can consume or do or see that will bring you, because this internal pleasure is just amazing. So coming back to the Pakistani society, it's just so easy. It's just so like, like in Pakistani culture, it's just like you sit at home, you go to university, you do this, you did that. And I'm going to drive a contrast, and this might be controversial, between Pakistani society and the US society. Earlier, or the Western society, earlier we used to be told that, like in the US, they don't care about your parents, and, after a while, you don't live with your parents and they kick you out of their home, blah, 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 blah. And at that time, I used to be like, yeah, because as a Pakistani society, as a South Asian society, we're very conservative, we're very like bonded together, and that's fine and everything, but to a certain extent, right? But in the Western society, that's what I realized. You know what the average age of starting a job in US is? A non-agriculture is 14 years old, meaning that you can start working legally in US at 14 years old. At I've had American friends who started doing welding jobs at the age of 17, who were doing construction jobs at the age of 21, who were lifting heavy objects at the age of 19. I was at my home doing absolutely nothing, wasting my time, blasting away, doing nothing. And I was like, it's not because of it's because of the culture. Over there, you are independent. Over there, hard work is appreciated. Over there, the parents say that, look, okay, we provided for you for a certain age, we provided food for you, clothing for you, etc., etc. Now go out, live your life. This is how it should be, this is how it is. And that
Yeah.
made me realize, and this is, again, when I say that I have regret, I mean that I use that regret to not waste any one more second, any one more minute doing the same thing I did, because repeating history, as we often say over here, is insanity. If you keep
Yeah.
doing the things again and again, if I keep still doing the thing that I was doing at the age of 24, 23, just sleeping and just doing nothing, I would like, that is just insanity. So this is just, and a lot of people might not agree with me. I'm not saying Pakistani people do not work hard, but they sure as hell do not work smart, and they sure as hell do not realize this, that what they could be, like you said. And just coming back to the worldly things, a lot of people tell me, oh, you only care about worldly things, blah blah blah. I'm like, yes, God made this world. God made beautiful mountains, beautiful places to see. There are historical places, there is delicious food to eat, there's just so many finer things in life, if you really want to have that. And in order to have that, and that's fine even if you don't want to have that, I'm not saying that there's no delicacy in not the finer things in life. I mean, that depends solely on what people want, what people like. But for me, for example, that is what attracts me, that is what I would like to have in life, because you are only alive once, I'm not talking about afterlife or whatever your faith or religious belief would be. But for now, God made you in this world, and God provided these things to you to enjoy. Now it's up to you if you want to go grab it or not. And sometimes I feel like people don't want to do it, people are afraid, or people are scared, or people are confused, and like you said, they're ignorant, is because they don't have that belief in them. They don't ask them the question themselves, that why can't I have this delicious food? Why can't I go on vacation 5 times a year and explore the world? Why can't I be with this beautiful woman or that beautiful man? Why can't I start a family? Why can't I drive the car that I always dreamed about, or live in 10 houses, or even live in a monastery? Is because they
And where
don't
does
believe
that
in
come
themselves.
from? Yeah. It comes back to our social norms, right?
Exactly.
The box, as we
The
put in an
box,
analogy
yes.
in a different episode, it's from the beginning. Like if you from the age of zero up until wherever you are now, 20, 25, whatever your age may be, if you've been told a certain thing your whole life, that's what you would believe, right? But if I told you something that is unbelievable, maybe nobody believes that, but if from the day one of from day one, if I told you this is possible, this is possible, your body would work like that. You will grow up believing that. And once you and me, we both know this, once you truly believe in something, half the job is already done.
Done.
Half the job is already done. If you've convinced your mind, if you've overcome that limitation, that fear, that big wall or mountain, in your mind and you've already conquered it in your mind, executing that in reality is much, much easier. But a lot of people go wrong here, where they sort of get this half-ass belief from, on a surface level, from people there's that, and they'll start working out for a day or do stuff to quickly satisfy some sort of validation or a group of people or whatnot. But if it's, keep saying, if it's not truly coming from within, and you doing that thing, it doesn't bother you what other people think or how they judge you or think of
Absolutely,
you,
yeah.
but you knowing within, if it stems from your soul, your core, half the job is already done. Then it's just, seeing and manifesting and just observing the reality and how it changes for you. And I'll also say, like, a lot of people don't understand this, that our primer selves were most efficient, were most creative, were most ferocious in pursuit, right? So make sure what you're pursuing is bigger than you,
That is so well said.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Be it our from our primal sides, our most two needs are food and sex, and that is what we thrive the most from thousands and thousands of years ago. We thrive the most in pursuit, but the problem is, like, we've been taught and brainwashed to pursue smaller things. Oh, I'm gonna go for this movie, this dinner, this food, blah blah blah, smaller things. If you just, they say, I want to share something very interesting here,
Please.
and I made a correlation. Buddha says that desire is the cause of all suffering. Having a desire for something is basically making a contract with yourself that up until I achieve this thing, I will not be happy, right? So that literally confuses a lot of people, that how can you even lead life without having any sorts of desire to go and take a shower or eat food, or there's tons and tons and tons of things, going to the gym, working, planning, eating, sleeping, everything starts from a desire to do that, right? But there's this entrepreneur novel. He says we as humans cannot not have desires. That's how we thrive. So do have a desire, but have one overarching desire over anything else, right? Be it your dream, your vision, your something you've always, your purpose, your passion, something you always wanted to do, and have that one desire over everything. If you're gonna just have so many little desires, oh, I would be comfortable if I was sitting a certain way or being around certain people, or if the weather was sunny. Oh, why is he or she doing this way? Or why don't people do this? Like, we get bogged down into small things and start complaining about things, and we always like want for things to be how they are not, even though it doesn't matter in the bigger picture. That is what really brings us uh, pain and unhappiness and dissatisfaction. Whereas have that one desire and fully invest yourself in pursuit of that. Everything else happens your way, doesn't happen. That's fine. You make your peace with it, but you need to achieve that one thing and devote your life to in pursuit of that thing. And as I mentioned before, we're the most ferocious, and we get the when we're
Absolutely.
truly in
I
pursuit of
mean,
something.
just adding a little point. People who work 9 to 5, you okay, you might like the work because there's a salary. You have your work colleagues, and you might think that you're being valuable. But you must ask, who are you serving at the end of the day? Who are you making money for? Like, your time is precious. People have no idea, like, may I share one thing people will get scared of? Go and calculate how much your 1 hour is worth. Go and calculate. People people listening to this, I'm sure once they calculate how much their 1 hour is worth, come back to us on this video and comment and tell us if we're wrong or not. When you see that number, and especially majority of the people, I bet, when they see that number, they will not be happy. They will ask themselves, the prime of their life, the youth, where they're most like efficient, where, like you said, where we're most ferocious at this age. Go and tell me if that one, what you're making that 1 hour is worth spending that time over there. Come back to us. I tell you, people will not be happy. I'm not happy. I, I I cannot sleep at night looking at that number. I'm like, am I like giving my life just to that number? That's it. And what am I achieving? Who am I building this for? So yes, I mean, I'm not saying about that like don't do your job properly. But what I just say is, after just realizing everything, I just want to sum it up, is that everything that you do in life, and the Stoic says that do it as if that's the last thing that you're doing. But if I were to put it in a modern term, be the Michael Jordan of everything that you do. Michael, like if you want to like bring water to someone, be the Michael Jordan of bringing water to someone. Do everything in excellence. Everything in excellence.
or at least try to.
Yes.
Try
Yes.
to.
Yes.
That's the
And follow your dream, like work 9 to 5, feed your family, etc., etc. But ask yourself, if this is really what you want to do, don't you want to do something else? Maybe sketch, maybe be a cook, or anything else. I mean, I don't know. I mean, all I do know is that people don't want to serve anyone else for the rest of their lives, and to serve at the same company or five other companies, and for them to come to you after 25 or 30 years that, hey, thank you so much for your time, etc., etc. Now we must part ways. That's something that I know that happens. I mean, ask your parents, ask this or that. I mean, just use this time to serve you. And I believe, for me, this is what we're doing, right? I mean, on our Sundays, on our Saturdays, we're trying to serve ourselves, and not only ourselves but the community as well. No, like, I mean, this is what we're trying to go towards, right?
see 100%, and that's what it is. We have struck gold here in the sense that we have understood that doing this thing, and not only doing this thing, but consciously working towards surrounding yourself with a certain kind of energy from people who have the similar kind of mindset, that are doing living to better themselves, that do understand that we're not perfect and there's so much room for improvement, that do understand that there is an higher self or a better self of themselves that they can achieve, and then live life from that position, and emit a certain kind of energy. We're just trying to bring about more and more people together who can have and have this kind of energy and amplify it together, because truly, when we are operating on a similar frequency and doing things together, that's when not only we develop a deeper connection together, but also see for each other what's possible. you know a lot of We're humans at the end of the day, right? We're social animals. So most of your inspiration, your drive, your passion, your desire to do things come from your social surroundings. And if you can hack your social surroundings, if your social surroundings are doing those things, I just give a simple example. If I grew up around every person who is running 100 kilometers, there's
Yeah,
no chance I will not grow up running 100 kilometers. So that's just
absolutely.
one thing. So it's just the people you surround yourself with, eventually that's the kind of thoughts your
and
mind will
and and the
feed,
person
and
who doesn't do that would be the outlier. No.
yeah,
And what we see right now is the opposite.
yeah,
People who are living comfortably, obese, unhealthy, unmotivated, no desire, just following, like you said, the brainwashed mindset of just 9 to 5 and then withering away, partying on the weekends, eating junk on the weekends, and doing it all over again. It was the same for both of us not long ago.
yes,
We just want
yes,
to add, it was the same for both of us until we realized, until you and I came together, until you had this vision to building a community of people who are wiser. And that's why we're called wiser together. It's not like
yes.
only Anas and Parmeet. And it's okay,
No,
like
it's not about us.
exactly. And it's okay, right now we don't like, I mean, we're in the early stages, like we don't have, like, let's say 100,000, 1,000 people in our tribe. But what we do have is, we're collecting gems slowly, slowly, like people who are trying to understand our message slowly, slowly, who are seeing it in our work ethic, in our in the way that we're living, in the lifestyle that we have established, in our friends and family.
Yeah. See, the underlying thing that we're sort of sharing here is that we're just working consciously to better ourselves. And there is inevitably going to be countless failures on the way. And that just reflects that we're human too. And we're not perfect. We're just trying to be better and better every day. And it's just me and Anas have seen just us two people coming together has had immense, immense,
Immense,
immense.
immense.
I can't even say it in words.
Oof.
Positive effect in each other's life, and how we hold each other accountable and thrive off of this energy and mentality that we share. So if two people can do that, we just want to create a big community where it's not even just about me and Anas, but people themselves are just give them a platform where they can interact with each other and amplify this energy just to better them their lives, because at the end of the day it's to be selfish to be selfless, right? If you truly serve yourself to be a higher version of yourself and be a better version of yourself, that's only when you can truly serve people around you in a better way. You sitting on your couch, I sorry I keep saying it in a very demeaning way,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
just being comfortable
Same
constantly and
thing,
not
man.
elevating
Yeah,
your game
yeah.
doesn't add any additional value to people around
To
you.
people around, yes, and you're not like you're not benefiting anyone. Not even yourself, but not even like your friends or family or anyone, and look, guys, I'm not even kidding. Like, we haven't done anything up till now. We haven't done anything. Like, I feel like I'm Caesar, crying and looking over my life, like I'm like,
Yeah,
like that. And again, it's not a place of darkness, it's not a place of being scared of anything. Use that emotion, use that
yeah,
fuel, and go hard at something. Like, just give it your all. And because Parmeet, I realize, like, why? Because people don't know how to win. Most of the people haven't won anything in their life. They haven't won anything, and I'm not talking about raising your hand in victory or anything like that. Completing, like, for example, just keeping a promise to yourself, that is a win. That is a win. Waking up at the time that you said, that is a win. Eating like what you thought is healthy, or like, this is, for example, I'm going to eat my vegetables, that is a win. But just keep accumulating that win. And I'm going to go back to Tim Grover's cleaner mentality. Would like you to go search it up yourself. Cooler, closer, and cleaner, right? Cleaner, we're talking about cleaner.
three types of people.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Virat Kohli, people like this, like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, blah blah blah. These are all cleaners who do it consistently, and that is only because they're in a zone. That zone that he talks about, that zone where
Zone of
all the, yes, it's like a switch where they can switch it on, switch it off, all the nonsense, all the bullshit, all the things that are bogging them down, their wives, their money trouble, blah 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 blah. The task at hand, be the cleaner, be in that zone. And we keep talking about this, like, and it happens to us as well. We keep dropping in and off the zone. Just so what Parmeet is talking about is that what we're trying to do every day is to improve ourselves, is to become better, and to consistently stay in that zone. Because this is what Parmeet was saying, because when you're in the zone is when you are useful, is when you are
Yes,
helping. Arnold Schwarzenegger father also said the same thing, that in life just be useful. So what we're
yes,
trying to say essentially is that if you work hard, look, money, women, men, blah 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 blah, every all of that worldly thing, those are ancillary, those are low hanging fruit. Those will come if you want them. And it's not a bad thing if you don't want, if you want that penthouse, if you want that motorbike, if you want to eat that wagyu steak, it's fine. Worldly things are there to be enjoyed. Don't let people talk you out of it, okay?
yeah.
But yeah, but the thing is that when you are useful is when all of these things will also come, because these are ancillary and low hanging fruits.
100%. And it's no, honestly, like, it's not about not having, like, people always get it wrong. Oh, you're so minimalistic, this, that, and then you want to wear expensive clothes and drive expensive cars and stay in these expensive hotels and go on these trips and this and that. It's not about not doing those things. It's about how much effect or influence those things have over you. Even if I didn't have those things, it wouldn't matter to me, right? But it's just that if I have access to those, I like to enjoy the uh, quality.
Quality
And
of life, yeah.
right, that's
Yeah.
what we work for. And it just comes down to how much influence or how much of yourself, how much of your pride and respect do you get from these things, right? A lot of people get their social validation from wearing certain kind of brands or being a certain way, and that just like shapes their personality and their identity in of itself. Remove that and their identity crashes, right? Put them in front of someone and without those things, and they would be extremely uncomfortable. So, and I want to also mention what you said, being in the phase of winning. Let's do a small challenge, guys, and then this would be an excellent way to reflect on yourself. uh, write down, let's say, write down 10 things. It can be small or big, up to you. Write them down specifically what you want to do, and as you achieve them, put a tick mark or a cross. So every time you win at that thing, just move on to the next one. Just 10 things that you want to do in the next week. It could be waking up at a certain time. It could be meditating for a certain length of period. It could be going to the gym. It could be just going for a walk. It could be spending time with your parents. It could be giving your parents a call, just listening to a friend, uh, anything, right? Just write it down, uh, and then just see how you, as you keep winning at those things, how the momentum shifts and how that encourages you to do more and more things. But I would say, coming to this phase, the two most important things are the energy you generate from within you and the energy you have around you. If you hack those two things, your life will change dramatically for the better, and not just your life, the people around you. If you change, optimize the energy around you, the friends around you, the content you consume, uh, all of those things, and then you also kind of be watchful of yourself, of your thoughts, practice meditation, build a sense of awareness of the energy that you serve within yourself, you will hack everything. So first things first, doing that within yourself, kind of, it's a journey. You can't do this overnight. When me and Nana started, we clearly established that, okay, this is like, there's no end goal to this. There's no finish line. We'll be doing this forever, because there won't ever come a certain time where Anas and me are like, okay, we've hit the ceiling now. There isn't
Yeah.
a single thing that we can
Never.
improve in
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of just being in pursuit your whole life, because that will keep you on your toes. And being on your toes, you're full of pride, and you have that satisfaction
Exactly.
and joy and peace in yourself, and you have that confidence in yourself, right? Uh,
There's no
so
glory in being average. There's no glory.
yeah, it's short lived. Some people can self create that, but it's short lived. So
Hmm.
meditate and stuff, build that self awareness. So it's a journey. You got to start somewhere. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. What is 5 minutes? We spend hours and hours on social media. If you just sit
Exactly.
and watch your thoughts for five
You know,
minutes,
like what you said about the theory, this is the social media is also a construct of that, to let people go and just do. You keep you're
of
serving them.
course,
You're
of
serving them
course,
when you're watching their content, when you're watching
of
someone
course.
dance or someone do silly things or pranks or with their family and with their child.
It's at
You're
the end of
making,
the day,
yeah. Who are you serving?
it's
Yeah, it
yeah,
isn't helping
it's
anyone.
Yeah, it's a reflection of our capitalistic world and how it wants to keep us mediocre, right? It constantly, they've hacked ways, and they have these
Yeah.
powerful systems that will get your attention, and will, it's really hard to get out of,
No,
right?
and
And we have
yeah,
wasted hours and hours on social media
yeah,
doing
yeah.
nothing, and
People say
uh,
people say they want to do this, they want to do that, but their work ethic, their work value isn't the same thing, and that's why there is a gap. That's why they get even more sad, and they don't realize when they're in their deathbed, they're gonna have all of their dreams around them. All their dreams standing around them. That we're gonna die with you because you didn't put in the effort to make us alive. And Jordan Peterson said it the best way. The interesting thing about life is that we're in it till the end. It's going to kill us.
yeah, wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's it, man. That's it.
I just wanna like summarize. So the point here that we're making is, if you truly at the core work on being a better version of yourself, not only that would serve you emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, but it would also serve others, people around you. And how you can do that is via two things: changing and being watchful and being aware of the thoughts within you. That's the energy you generate with yourself. And number two, transforming, changing, slowly. It's a journey. The energy around you, the people around
Very
you,
slowly.
content. Yeah,
It's
it
day by
takes
day,
time.
day by day.
So so we've given you an exercise. You can try meditation. There's different forms of it. Whatever works for you, go for it. And then maybe do this another thing. Find a friend who you work out with, or who you could do those things with, and just try something new. Find a friend who you would put yourself in an uncomfortable situation with, whatever the situation is, and do that. Start there, and let's see how it goes. And make a list of 10 things that you want to do, and write them down. And as you achieve them, take them, and see how the momentum of winning shifts towards you. uh, I think we'll cut it here. Thank
Yes.
you everyone for joining. As we mentioned before, this is just about attracting the right kind of energy around us that can allow us to be a better and higher version of ourselves, because that is the only way to serve ourselves in all ways, and people around us. So please support us and help us amplify this energy in any way you can. Interact with us. We truly love talking about these things. We're self growth, self improvement nerds. So anything self growth related, let's have a chat. And thank you for joining again, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Ciao, guys.